Hi guys, my name is Alan. I'm an architect and an illustrator based in the Philippines. And today in this video, we are going to be taking a closer look at Paul Rubens' Floral set. So this set was kindly sent to me by Paul Rubens weeks ago for review. Currently, this set of 24 half pans costs only $41.99 or roughly 2,500 Philippine pesos. But because there's a Black Friday deal, Paul Rubens offers 20% discount. So now until December 2, you can get this set for only $33.59 or roughly 2,000 Philippine pesos only. I think that's a great deal, so you should grab it. If you remember 2 years ago, I reviewed the tube set version of Paul Rubens' floral set and I loved them. But I don't think the tube set are still available because I no longer see them. So now let's focus on our pan set. As you can see, this set is still sealed, and yes, again I saved the unsealing or the unboxing for you guys. So I'm using my palette knife to remove this cellophane cover. And now we have our box, so it's kind of matte, I think. And in front, just like in the tube set, we have here this beautiful floral painting, and here is the signature of the artist. And here it says artists transparent watercolors, fine artist watercolors. And here we have some Chinese characters. I think Song is the surname or the name of the artist. I cannot read Chinese, so I cannot be so sure. But anyway, we have here the classic Paul Rubens logo. It says here Paul Rubens. On this side, we have some codes. And at the back, yeah, we have here again the logo and the same texts that we have in front. Now, let's open our box. And yes, we have here again our classic Paul Rubens cloth, our microfiber. That's a unique branding from Paul Rubens. And now we have here a pink palette, a pink tin, again with the Paul Rubens logo. So now let's open it. We have 4 mixing wells, and yeah, we have a ring at the back. And here they provided a swatch sheet that contains the number code and the pigment code, and everything now is in Chinese. And I think the numbers at the bottom are the light fastness rating. So here now are our pans. And here we have a swatch card or an information brochure, and it looks exactly the same as the other Paul Rubens brochures that we receive, but here everything is in Chinese. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 109 colors for their full range. So that's kind of weird. Okay. I was expecting it to be at least even number, but anyway, that's fine. I think I would be happier to rearrange this according to my preference, so let me do that. So I think I'd be happier with that. Now let's check out an individual half pan. So let's take this Indian yellow. So in front, you'll see here some Chinese characters, of course. Paul Rubens. It says here artists watercolors. We have here the number code. We also have here the color name, which is of course Indian yellow. On this side we have more Chinese characters, and it says here PY83, which is the pigment used. And we have here the number 7, and that's the light fastness rating. And that's on the other side. You have here the company information, and at the bottom of the pan we have here again some Chinese characters. I think yeah, this means Paul Rubens, and I think this is so unique to this brand. They have the brand name written at the bottom of their half pans. So now let's remove the wrappers of our half pans, and I'm gonna be showing one So doing this is so satisfying because the wrapper is some sort of a sticker that, you know, that peels off so easily. And I suggest you guys to save this information sheet. Should I just paste these at the back of our swatch sheet? Yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing. Now we're done, removing our wrappers, but I've noticed two discrepancies. So it's for olive green and yellow sienna deep, because in the wrapper it says here that olive green B174 uses 4 pigments, PG36, PY12, PR101, and PW5. I hope you can see that or read that, but on their swatch sheet it only says PG36. So I think the more credible pigment information is the one in their wrappers, because it's olive green, so it's impossible to just be PG36 because that's the olive green yellow shade, and obviously this is not that shade, so it must be mixed with something. PG36 must be mixed with something to be olive green. So yeah. Now for the next color with discrepancy, it's the B276. It says here yellow sienna deep uses PY43, but here it uses PY42. So in my swatch sheet, for olive green I followed the wrapper, but for the yellow sienna deep I used PY42. I followed the swatch sheet. Anyway, PY42 or PY43 are, brothers, brother pigments. So yeah. So I hope Paul Rubens can note these discrepancies in the future so they can, improve their documentation. So now for our swatches and sample painting, I'm using Arches 185 cold pressed cotton paper, and for my brushes, of course, I'm using my own Alan J. Quesada Fumui Polinsky brush, and I have my number 2 round detail brush. And so now we're ready, but to note, just like in other reviews we did before, we're not reactivating our pans prior to swatching to show how easily they activate. So let's begin. Our first color is permanent lemon yellow using PY3 or Hansa yellow light, and it's very good when it comes to light fastness. This is the cool yellow in this set. Next we have here permanent yellow medium using PY65 or Hansa yellow deep, but for me this version looks like a mid yellow, and it's very good to excellent when it comes to light fastness. Next we have nickel yellow PY150, my favorite yellow pigment, and it's nickel azomethine or nickel azo yellow. It's excellent when it comes to light fastness, and it's a top 40 pigment from Handprint. Next yellow we have Indian yellow using PY83 or diarylide yellow. Obviously this is the warm yellow of this set, and it can be inconsistent when it comes to light fastness, but at least it's not fugitive. Next we have here permanent orange yellow using 2 pigments, PO73 and PY74. PO73 is spiral orange and PY74 is Hansa yellow medium. Next we have here Chinese red using PR254, and PR254 is spiral red, excellent when it comes to light fastness and a top 40 pigment. This is the warm red of this set. Next is rose red using PV19, and PV19 is quinacridone rose, another top 40 pigment, and excellent to very good when it comes to light fastness, and obviously this is a cool red. Next we have here peach light using the not so common pigment PR146, and if I remember correctly, PR146 is naphtha red, bluish, and it's very good to fair when it comes to light fastness, and obviously this pigment has texture. I think this is granulation. Yeah, that texture is really strong. Next we have here magenta using PR122, but this version appears to be like a quinacridone violet, PV19. It's very deep version of PR122, I must say. And this is also another top 40 pigment. Next, we have here permanent violet using PV23 or the dioxazine violet, another top 40 pigment, and I think this is a usual, shade of PV23. It's very deep. Now for our next color, we have three pigments. For lavender violet, we have PB29 ultramarine, PV3M methyl violet, and PW6, which is titanium white. And I think this shade is standard to lavender. And this is, I think, the first semi-opaque or opaque color in this set because of the presence of PW6. Next, we have here France Ultramarine. Yes, France Ultramarine, not French Ultramarine, and it uses PB29 or Ultramarine. It's a top 40 pigment and excellent when it comes to light fastness. You'll see here hints of granulation, of course. Next, we have here Cobalt Blue, PB28, a top 40 pigment, excellent when it comes to light fastness, and also this is an expensive pigment because it's a genuine cobalt pigment. Now we have here a phthalo pigment. We have PB15:3 for sea blue. I think the hue is standard. This one's really clear and clean, very transparent. Next, we have turquoise light using another genuine cobalt pigment, which is PB36. And yeah, also top 40 pigment and excellent when it comes to light fastness. This pigment is expected to be more on the opaque side, so it's what you're seeing now, but I love this color. Next, we have emerald green light using PG36, so that's the standard phthalo green yellow shade. Next, we have here a three pigment color. We have permanent green using PG36 phthalo green yellow shade, PY3 Hansa yellow light, and PY74 Hansa yellow medium. And you know me, I'm not a fan of this hue, but yes, I agree this is very useful in florals and botanical paintings. Next color, we have here Hooker's Green Brillight using PG17, which is chromium oxide green. Excellent when it comes to light fastness, also a top 40 pigment. This is the version of PG17 that I prefer. It's a deep dark green as compared to the usual ones that is opaque and very light. Next color, we have here olive green using 4 pigments according to the wrapper. It's using PG36 or phthalo green yellow shade, PY12, which is again another not so common pigment in sets. It's benzidine yellow. And we also have here PR101 synthetic red iron oxide and PW5, which is weird. It's a lithopone. It's a white pigment, but I don't see any opacity in this. But yeah, because it's PW5, it's not as opaque as PW6. Maybe that's why it's not showing up so much here. Next, we have here yellow sienna deep using PY42, and this pigment is according now to the swatch sheet that they provided. Anyway, synthetic yellow iron oxide is a top 40 pigment and of course excellent when it comes to light fastness. I can say that this color so far is the one which activated the hardest. Not really bad, but among the other first colors, it is the hardest to activate. Next, we have here Van Dyke Brown PBR7. PBR7 is natural iron oxide, of course, another top 40 pigment. This version is, I think, a standard hue for Van Dyke Brown. Next, we have Cyprus Brown Deep using PBR7, and yeah, another natural iron oxide, so it's a reliable pigment, but this one is a bit warmer and yellower and lighter as compared to Van Dyke Brown. Next, we have here burnt brown, not burnt brown, it's burnt brown using PBR7, and I think this looks like a sepia. It's a dark version of PBR7, but it's transparent. And last but not the least in this set is their indigo using 3 pigments: PV19 Quinacridone Rose, PB15 Phthalo Blue, and PBK6, which is Lamp Black. And I love this color. I think this will act as the paints gray of the set. So now, while we are waiting for our swatches to dry, let's now proceed to our sample painting. And I'll be speeding this up through clips, so if you have any questions, please just comment it at the comment box. So I'm ready. Let's begin. And so now our sample painting is dry. We can now have a closer look. So now let's go to our review proper, and for that let's begin with the color selection. I can say that the color selection is close to perfection because, you know, the primaries are very much balanced, and we have split primaries here. So we have 4 yellows, 4 reds, 4 blues, 4 greens, and 4 earth colors. We have split primaries. We have cool yellow, warm red, warm blue, cool blue. And I can tolerate 4 greens in this set because it's a floral set. Also, I can tolerate peach light, PR146. That is not very good or excellent when it comes to light fastness. I think it's fair when it comes to light fastness because this kind of very bright pink cannot be matched by any other pigment like PV19 or PR122. It's like an opera, and I think that is very useful in a floral set. But if you are painting for paintings to be displayed or to be sold, you may want to double check this pigment. You may want to perform your own light fastness test before using this. Otherwise, you can use alternatives like the PR122 or the PV19. Also, I would be happier if one of these 3 browns would become a burnt sienna or an Indian red, because I think these 3 almost look the same. Obviously, the Cypress Brown Deep is their yellowish version, and the Van Dyke Brown is the darkest version. Yeah, I'd be happier to have a burnt sienna and an Indian red, so I can keep this one and replace these 2 with burnt sienna and Indian red. I think that will make this set a more versatile set and a more effective set for floral subjects. Now in this set, we have 19 single pigment colors. That's 80% of the 24. 15 out of the 24 are present in Handprint's top 40 pigments. And we also have an expensive pigment here, which is the genuine cobalt blue PB28. But my favorite pigment here is PY150 nickel azo yellow. That's my favorite yellow. And you don't usually find this pigment in sets like these. Now when it comes to saturation and pigment load, Paul Rubens is not new to us anymore. We already know how they perform, and I can say that the colors are all popping, they're all robust, except maybe for yellow sienna deep. But don't get me wrong, the hue or the color is good, it's not just as strong as the other colors. Now when it comes to mixability, I did not encounter any issues mixing my colors. They're a joy to work with. Now when it comes to flow, I can say that they're kind of above average, but still far from core flow level, and that's okay with me because I like controlling my paints. Now for texture, yes, they have texture, especially peach light. You can see, let me zoom it closer. See that texture? I'm not sure if that's granulation or flocculation, but for me that's very attractive, that's beautiful. The France Ultramarine shows some hints of granulation, but not very strong. And yeah, I love the texture. They're not the smoothest, but at the same time they have character. Now when it comes to transparency, most of the colors obviously are on the transparent side, except of course for some of the colors that are expected to be more on the opaque side, such as the permanent green, because of I think the PY3, and also PY3 is semi-transparent, permanent yellow medium is semi-transparent, and also the turquoise light is semi-transparent. And what else? Also, I think the permanent yellow orange is semi-transparent, and lavender of course, and the rest are more on the transparent side. Now to see how well these paints adhere on paper, let's rub a sheet of paper against our swatches and sample painting, and if we get marks here or stains of pigments, that could be a sign that these paints are chalky, and of course they're not adhering super well on paper. So let's see. And as you can see, our paper is still so clean. So that answers it. The Paul Rubens Floral set adheres well on paper. And so now for the comparison portion, let's begin with a set of paints that are, I think, less performing as compared to the Paul Rubens Florals pan set. So this is a combination of student grades and professional grades. And let's begin with the Simbalayan watercolors, the Jovi Aquarella. We also have the Dong-A Creative. We also have Sterling Arts watercolors, the Faber-Castell solid watercolors. Then we also have Sakura Koi pocket-filled sketchbox, the Reeves watercolors. Then we have the Berkeley watercolors, the Art Ranger watercolors. Then we have the Montmartre 2 Seasons watercolors, the Lightwish 128 color set. We also have the Maris watercolors in tubes, the Faber-Castell in tubes, Magiwa Basics watercolors, Pentel watercolors fine. We also have the Maris watercolors in pans, the Giorgione watercolor cakes, the Pebeo Studio watercolors, the Lefranc and Bourgeois Louvre watercolors, the Prang watercolor sets. Then we also have the Renaissance watercolors, the Pelican transparent watercolors, the Koh-i-Noor Anilinki Brilliant watercolors. Then we have the Owen watercolor cakes, the Owen watercolor cakes in metal case, the Sakura matte watercolors. Then we also have the Sakura Koi watercolors in tubes. Then we have the Simi Art solid watercolors 50s, the Miyahime solid watercolors. Then we have the Pretty Excellent watercolors. We also have here Superior foldable. Then we also have the Superior fan palette, the Simi Arts Arts watercolors, the Medici Nano watercolors, the Superior watercolors, the Mil Yang watercolors 52 set, the Winsor Newton China, the Grumbacher Academy, Gustro Artist watercolors. So we're now in professionals. The Simi Art semi-dry watercolors, this is student grade. The Kuretake Gansai Tambi, Kiaome watercolors, the Sonnet watercolors, Winsor Newton Cutman, Then we also have the Van Gogh 12+3 Halfpans, Españoleto Aquarela, the Lucas Aquarel 1862, another professional grade, Okuyo Camel Watercolors, the Good Side Chinese Painting Pigments, the Mungyo Professional Watercolors, and the Prima Marketing Tropicals. Now let's proceed to the sets that are, I think, very much comparable with the Paul Rubens Floral set. So let's begin with the Maris Masters Light Wish. And yeah, visually they're very comparable, but I think the pigments of Paul Rubens Floral set are more reliable. But I must say the browns or the earth colors of Maris Masters Light Wish are all good. Now we have the Viburnum Art Professional Watercolors. This is, yeah, really good set for its price as well, and I also love the pigment selection. This is a close match. I can consider this as a draw, but if you want a set that comes with a mop brush or a quill brush, you might consider getting Viburnum Art. Now we have another set from Lightwish. This is the Lightwish Artist Grade, and this is also so comparable. I think your deciding factor in choosing which one you're gonna get is the color selection. So if you're into florals, I think this is, you know, better, but as a general set you might want to consider the Lightwish Artist Grade. But yeah, Paul Rubens floral set is also versatile. Another set that's very comparable is the Paul Rubens 4th generation watercolors, but this set comes in tubes and the colors are just so strong and I love it. But yeah, I think they're very much comparable as well. And also, of course, we have the Yulan 5th generation watercolors, also from Paul Rubens. I think the difference of these with the 4th generation is that they're just finer, so lesser texture. But the colors are, you know, just very the same and very much comparable. But I think the most comparable is another Paul Rubens floral set, and that is the Paul Rubens floral set in tubes. And I think you will see obviously that some of the colors in the tube set are more intense or are more heavy, and I think it's obviously because they came from tube, and that could be, you know, a human error thing. I may have put more paints in these swatches, that's an issue. But yeah, I can say that they're just the same. But I have also observed that some colors are not anymore the same. Take a look at the Van Dyke Brown in the tube set. It's more like a burnt umber. It's redder as compared to the Van Dyke Brown in the pan set, which is darker. So yeah, and what else is different now? I think that's the only difference. The rest is just really the same. And also you can see the output. I tried to make, a very similar output, and yeah, same experience, same colors, and same paints. Now let's proceed with the artist grade paints that are, I think, slightly better as compared to Paul Rubens floral set. So without further ado, let's begin with the Wichitrong watercolors by Silpahorn, or actually you can count this is a draw as well, because some colors in the Paul Rubens are better, but these two, the ultramarine and burnt sienna, they're just two of the best. So yeah. Next we have Isaro Extra Fine watercolors, the Utrecht artist watercolors. We also have the Rembrandt Luxury Pocket Box, the Igalio Honey watercolors. Then we also have the White Nights by St. Petersburg. Then we have the White Nights in tubes, the Blocks Extra Fine watercolors, the Holbein Botanical. So you can also compare these two. Actually, they're also very comparable, but I think Holbein Botanical Art has slightly better color selection because it is heavier on purples, pinks, and reds, which is, I think, more essential in a botanical set. And also the earth colors are better. Next we also have the Winsor & Newton Professional, the Core watercolors. We also have the Mijello Pure Pigment Set 26, the Schminka Horadam Aquarella, and the Daniel Smith Extra Fine watercolors. So now, if you are to ask me would I recommend the Paul Rubens watercolor set, Halfpans version? My answer is a definite yes, of course. I really appreciate the color selection. I think it works well as a floral set and also as a versatile set. I also love the pigment selection, and 80% of this are single pigment. Colors are really strong, colors are mostly transparent, they're not chalky, I think. And also, I'm happy with my experience using these paints when I did my output here. You know guys that Paul Rubens is no longer new to us, and so we are very familiar with its performance and quality. If you are a beginner or an enthusiast looking for an upgrade, this is definitely worth the try, especially now that it has 20% off until December 2. And also, if you are an artist who would like to use this for paintings to be sold or for paintings to be displayed, most of the colors are very good to excellent when it comes to light fastness. They did not include, thankfully, a fugitive pigment. But there are some pigments here that you need to watch out for, and that is the Peach Light, PR146 and PY83. They're not fugitive, I'd like to make that clear. They're not fugitive, but they're fair when it comes to light fastness, so use them with a bit of caution, or you may want to perform your own light fastness test. So yeah, overall, I'm really happy with this set. I really enjoyed using them, and I'm thankful to Paul Rubens for sending this beautiful set to me for me to try. And I am also very happy to see that Paul Rubens are never stopping, never tiring from developing their product, creating new products, and they're including us in their journey by, letting us comment about their products, review their products, ask for our feedbacks and our experiences. So let me know your thoughts about these paints on the comment section. Again, to Paul Rubens, thank you so much for sending these beautiful paints for me to try. I really enjoyed using them. So again, this has been Alan, thanking you for reaching this far. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like and share this video, and also please don't forget to subscribe. So that's all for today. See you on the next video. Bye bye.